Yo, I'm Brendan. Is Robinhood actually the best place for us to store our cash? I never really thought about them this way because it's always been like the quick, easy to invest app, the place to do day trading and invest in silly things like GameStop, but there's a chance that it's actually a really good savings account nowadays. So let's dive into the details and see if this is true or not. First off, we know that Robinhood has this interesting 3% rewards card coming out soon. It's a credit card. We know that you can get a 3% boost on your retirement. Now we're getting into this topic here, which is make money on your money with Robinhood Gold 8 times the national savings interest rate. And even when we click into the disclosure for that, this doesn't give us all the information we need. First of all, if you would use Robinhood as a savings account, it's not really a savings account. The way that you would get a return of any kind on your cash that you have within Robinhood is just to leave it in the brokerage account uninvested. It's called the cash sweep program. And so what they're basically saying is, as this money is sitting there waiting to be deployed, hopefully you're going to invest it with us, but if you don't, we'll pay you interest on that cash for now. It's not literally a savings account. Instead, this cash that's intended for investing, but that you have not yet invested or spent, is swept to partner banks. And so as of right now, at time of filming, there's actually 12 different banks. And so it could be eligible for up to $2.25 million in FDIC insurance if you're like equally spread across the banks. And so that's by no means guaranteed because you'd have to have it equally spread across each bank. Robinhood's not going to do that kind of like legwork for you. And so if you've got a couple $1,000,000 that you're trying to keep FDIC insured, I don't think this is the best way. I'm just thinking that as an alternative to a savings account, this is a bit of a way to get a hack for that because maybe you want to invest the money, but maybe you're not ready for it. And so this way you can have it there kind of staged, preloaded. The engine is running, so to speak. You just don't have the vehicle in a gear yet because you don't have it invested. But here's where we have to start letting the other shoe drop because as of November 15th, 2023, the APY, the amount of money that we earn on this, is 1.5% for people who aren't paying for Robinhood Gold or 5% for Gold customers. But I found out that that's actually going to change really soon. Whenever I dig into the brokerage sweep program terms and conditions and FAQ here in the underbelly of the Robinhood website, we find out the truth. And that's, of course, like many savings account interest rates or checking account interest rates or anything along those lines, that the interest rate can and will change. In fact, they're already planning a change for the base level Robinhood membership, if you will. Anybody who's just using Robinhood and not paying the extra that you have to pay to get Robinhood Gold, that rate was 1.5%, which is not a great interest rate, but it's more than nothing because a lot of the big banks, Chase and Wells Fargo and people like that, essentially give us nothing. They give us 0.01%, and so it may as well be zero. This was a way to get a much better return than that. And then if you wanted to opt in for Robinhood Gold, you can get 5%, which is a great option. But starting in May 2024, very, very soon, the non-cash gold sweep program will be switched to 0.01%. So at the same time that Robinhood is adding a bunch of really interesting features to Robinhood Gold, like the credit card, like an IRA match, like the 5% yield on your uninvested cash, all that's really good. They're also disincentivizing you to use the base level non-paid Robinhood features by doing stuff like this, where you lose any kind of interest that you would have been earning on your uninvested cash. And so they're really pushing us towards that paid membership, both through positive incentives and adding features and negative incentives in removing things that used to make it just an appealing kind of base level investing platform to start with. And my guess is that they need us all to be paying for Robinhood Gold to pay for these features. Here's a little bit of insight into how this is actually different than a savings account. So cash sweeps are their way of ensuring our money isn't sitting idly in the brokerage account doing nothing. And so what Robinhood does is take that uninvested cash and it puts it in bank deposit accounts at one of their 12 banks that they're partnered with. So we might want to be asking, how fast does that money actually move from one of those banks to be able to invest it? Maybe you get a hot stock tip from your Uncle Larry, who shouldn't be trusted, by the way, and you decide that it's time to invest. Robinhood claims it's instantly available. It's not like you've got to wait for a few days for the money to transfer back from the bank, hit your Robinhood account, then you can invest it, yada, yada, yada. No, they just make it available to you at all times. So I think based on all this information, we can safely say that Robinhood is not a very good savings account option unless you're paying for Robinhood Gold. It's just not worth it to get 0.01% interest and miss out on the benefit of a decent yield when you could go somewhere else, pay for nothing, and get a similar yield. But if we are paying for Robinhood Gold, then we're also getting an extra benefit here. You're getting 5% on your cash, you're getting bigger instant deposits, you're getting more research and insight and data and stuff like that, plus you're getting a cheaper margin rate if you do have money invested and you want to borrow against it. Plus, one of the biggest benefits that you get that I don't think people are talking about enough is a 3% IRA match on your IRA contributions. So it's like a 401k match at your job, but it's through your IRA. This is a really cool benefit that they've enacted that I think is really worth taking advantage of, because why would you not want to get the match? It's just going to accelerate how much money that you have invested. Yeah, it's only 3%. It's not going to suddenly make you be able to retire in a year or two, but every little bit can help you. One question I think people find that they need to ask themselves, though, is how much money do you need to have saved in here for it to justify paying for Robinhood Gold? Because yes, it's only $5 a month, but that's $5 a month more than you have to pay for one of these other banks. So by my math, we've got $60 per year in expense that we need to cover. So if we take $60 and divide it by 5%, that means that we need to have $1,200 in cash deposited in the account just to cover the base cost of Robinhood Gold. If we've got $1,200 in there, we're earning 5% interest on it, then it's spitting off enough interest to cover the cost of the thing. So in a way, we're getting it for free. It's also important to point out that this is different than the Robinhood spending account. Robinhood has a debit card. You can have money sent in here, basically use it like a checking account and use their debit card to pay your normal bills. They even have some reward categories in here. 2% cash back on gas and groceries. Certain retailers give you an extra percentage back if you're shopping on them through the Robinhood app. If I click into here and I really need something from Newegg, I can get 1% back. This is not the place where you put your cash to get a good interest rate from Robinhood. It's just sort of a starting place for you. You could, for example, have your paycheck sent to this account and then move the cash over to the cash sweep program via the taxable brokerage account and then earn interest there. You're not going to earn the interest rate here in the Robinhood spending account, just to be clear on that. To add to the complexity of all this, you've also got other options for 5% interest right now elsewhere. For example, Webull does the same exact thing. 5% APY on your idle cash, but you're not paying $5 per month like you do with Robinhood. M1 Finance has a 5% APY savings account that you could take advantage of. And they also say right here in their FAQ page that you don't need to have an M1 Plus to earn 5% APY. All open and active savings accounts will earn 5% APY. So you don't have to pay for any kind of fee there to use this either. Plus Acorns has similar features, but you do have to pay for those. So I think our conclusion here is similar to what it is a lot of the time. It's what's convenient and makes sense for you. In the workflow of your money and where your money comes in and goes out, if Robinhood is already sort of a key part of that, let's say maybe you use their debit card or you already plan on investing a lot with them, maybe you're going to take advantage of the IRA match money, I think it makes sense to then use that as sort of a pseudo savings account. It's FDIC insured, it gets the same interest as a high yield savings account, so it functions the same way for us. But should you absolutely go out of your way and transfer all your money out of elsewhere just to jump through the hoop of getting Robinhood Gold to get 0.3 or 0.5% more interest? I don't know if that makes sense. You'd have to really want all the features of Robinhood Gold to, I think, justify going through those hoops. But we're all at all times deciding what the best thing is to do with our cash. Some people still like physical cash. They want to hold it. They want it to be in their wallet. They like the feeling of having the money physically. Other people just let it rot in a checking account and they don't earn any interest on it. But in any case, this video goes over all the options we have with our cash and what some of the better ones are compared to keeping it physically or letting it rot in that checking account. So watch this video next to talk more about cash. Otherwise, subscribe by clicking on my little face right here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.